Do I look badass, Will?
Somewhat.
I need a cigarette or something.
You Marlboro Light and a Miller Light.
That'd be freaking awesome if it's just in here. I can count on one finger how many cigarettes I've smoked in my life.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Heck to the no.
What about the Zen packs?
No, those are bad for you.
What are you saying there, Chad?
They're bad for you. All vices are bad for you.
Yeah.
Take that advice, Will.
So here's something that I don't know, I wasn't studying it, but I saw a write-up on it. The drug nicotine is actually not that bad for you.
No, there's like
It's everything else that comes with it, right?
There's like proven that like people with ADD, ADHD, things like that like it can help. I think.
Is nicotine any worse than caffeine for you?
Probably not. Like everybody said, like as far as drugs go, I think caffeine's like the most addictive, right? I mean, it's the
Or sugar, maybe? I don't know.
It's the most accepted,
Right.
We give it to our kids, or I don't want to say but nobody bats an eye at a kid drinking a Coca-Cola.
Yeah. And I was saying that back in the day, the Marlboro Man, they smoked like 17,000 packs a day, and everybody was like, "Yo, you're a smoker?" You'd show up to one of your little events, and you had all your Marlboro gear on because your parents bought it with the Marlboro miles. Remember those?
Yeah, it was like a different. I think we all probably grew up with like grandparents or parents that smoked cigarettes, and like it was like for this period of time, it was so accepted, and then all of a sudden, it wasn't. It was like the war was raged on it. So I'm maybe like you said, I don't know that the actual nicotine itself is as bad as all the chemicals and pesticides and everything that's sprayed on the tobacco to process it. Honestly, it's probably, I don't even want to say that it's maybe it's not a tobacco company problem as much as it's a food problem. I mean, look at all the food and things that are sprayed on food that's bad, and we found out now, maybe you'd be better off eating the local beef and growing your own garden and not
100%.
not spraying Roundup on it. So,
Does nicotine come from anything other than a tobacco leaf?
I don't know.
I
know it doesn't come from cannabis. It's not in there.
Yeah, like I wouldn't. I don't know that answer. I'm not.
Yeah, I was just
would have
curious. Can it be generated in a lab without a tobacco leaf?
Well,
It'd be something good to know.
I'll look that up now, that question. But to answer your previous question, it says apparently caffeine and nicotine are very similar, but nicotine is has more severe cardiovascular effects and is like more addictive. So
Okay. Yeah.
Nicotine is, you say?
Then
Okay.
caffeine. I think our
Nicotine. Okay.
I think, but like for the discussion though, like caffeine is so much more accepted,
Readily available. Yeah.
right? Like there's not an age limit on caffeine.
That's right.
There's not.
There should be, in my opinion.
There probably should be. Like there's no regulation. I mean, look,
I agree. There should be, because you don't want to be giving caffeine to your 10-year-old
4-year-old
kid or whatever.
Well,
right?
I did when I was, sorry to cut you off, but I did when we were younger, right? They'd go out, "Hey, Daddy, can I have a Coke?" I'm so busy. I'm like, "Sure." And then
Here, drink
I'm
whatever.
like, "Whoa, I forgot
Yeah.
about that."
Well,
now we only give them Sprite or the sugar-free stuff, right?
Well, I know Emma and like her friend group, and I'm a firm believer that it was done on purpose. But like the Alani energy drinks are like that's the one that they want to drink, and I'm like, it's solely because that's who's they're marketing to.
Yep.
Look at their can. Look at everything that they have going on about their vibe. Pull up their Instagram, and it's like young girls.
Yep.
That's their audience, and
It's the same thing with Prime. I mean, the
Yeah.
people who developed Prime, what was his name? I forget.
Paul.
Yeah.
Jake Paul. Or
Yeah, and so he developed that, and so he was a big YouTube guy, and so everybody started following him on that, and then they put it in the stores and it just grew like rapidly.
I know. Maybe we need
Is
to
that Jake Paul? I always thought it was prime time for some reason.
No.
Deion
so
Sanders.
Dion has no, it's not. I'm wrong. Jerry Rice has an energy drink. It's like goat fuel or something. But
Prime is an investor or something.
Prime energy drink or Prime and they have the sports drinks like a Gatorade competitor. That is it. It's one of the Pauls. It's Jake Paul or
Pretty sure it's Jake Paul.
Yeah, it's one of the two Paul brothers.
He hasn't been bought out yet by Pepsi or
he
Coca-Cola.
will
or
be.
Not
anything
that I know
like
of. That's how he's making
I guess
millions of dollars.
I would say
besides-
he's hoping that he'll be like 50 Cent and
Sure.
sell vitamin water to
yeah.
Coca-Cola for 500 million.
You
or-
get up enough market share, it'll happen.
yeah,
sure.
Yeah, I mean that is where the bulk of 50 Cent's wealth was from vitamin water.
Yeah. That's
Going
crazy.
back to the nicotine thing, it says it's found in mostly in tobacco, but then it's also found in potatoes, tomatoes, and eggplants apparently. And then in e-cigarettes,
Nicotine?
it's usually made from synthetic nicotine. in the
Nicotine
lab.
is found in tomatoes and eggplants.
Is that from like where you're changing out the
Okay.
different crops?
Lower
crop
dose,
rotation,
probably.
crop rotation coming in.
Could
getting left?
be. Huh. That's weird.
No, I think it's in the plant itself.
Okay.
That's wild.
Yeah, well,
Well,
In
nicotine,
the leaves.
come-
in the
here
leaves
come
of the
potatoes.
plants.
the leaves. Okay. So they might be pulling it from other plants.
Yeah.
For the pouches and stuff.
There you go.
Right?
There you go.
Nicotine, caffeine, good little segue into our podcast for today, right?
Sure. Anything's a segue.
Because we talked about kids and parenting a little bit on it. But today's episode 3 of season 2, we're going to talk about parenting and AI, right?
What is AI?
The two kind of go hand in hand. We'll talk about work a little bit, AI and work too, but
Yeah.
it's mostly going to be for the parents out there because we are all dealing with a lot of AI issues, I would say, or kids
Yeah.
possibly using AI, and how do we use AI as parents?
because we're all
Should
parents
we?
here. Yeah.
Should we use AI as parents to help us in parenting and other things? So we'll get into that.
We also, the three of us have kids of varying ages, and Will is still a teenager. So we've got a little bit of that.
I think we have all,
And a college age teenager.
Still in
So,
school.
Yeah. So we've got the full spectrum.
Yeah.
mine are elementary.
What? Yeah, go around. What, JT?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, let's
Let me back up.
introduce JT.
Yeah.
How about that? So JT's with us here today. JT's a member. Jonathan Totty is a
Yeah.
member of NextGen Communications. He's on with us to talk about AI. We would say he's our AI specialist, right?
He's special.
He's maybe one of the more knowledgeable AI people on our team.
Yeah.
When you say JT,
Probably, but I've been studying AI for a long time. Very infatuated with it. There's so many different facets that it can do, right? I mean, I've built AI bots. I've built chat bots. I've built actual virtual bots that'll clone me. I can type in to make it do whatever I want. I literally talk to it all day long and it helps me. You talked about touching on it earlier with work and everything. So it helps me through my day and streamlines it. And we're going to get it to in a second. But as far as raising your children and helping you out doing like homework and things like that, I mean, it's amazing. And it's crazy to see how far it's come in the last couple years. And in 10 years, who knows where it's going to be. But
yeah.
I live and breathe AI. I love it.
It's kind of exciting and scary at the same time to think where AI is going to be in 10 years.
I mean, it's
Right.
nuts. I mean,
I don't wanna-
especially
According to Elon Musk, we're going to have robots, right? Soon. We're going to have self-driving cars, all this stuff, right?
Listen, we brought this up in the last podcast and the Megan Fox movie. That's the only way that I'm getting a robot. And Haley will be mad.
No,
but
wait,
that
no
robot-
pull boy robot?
No.
Come on.
I don't want a robot.
Okay.
I'm anti-robot.
I would love to have one that could cut my grass, that could do all the, change my oil, do all that stuff that I do, but I don't want to do, right?
So in this is maybe perfect for this.
It would
episode.
be JT's best friend. His robot would be his best friend.
I think so. I think that this may be the perfect group of our folks to talk about AI, because I think we have 3 different levels of buy-in
yeah.
Yeah.
on AI.
Because you just recently started using it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like fresh, like within days.
Almost.
So we just got Chad using Facebook in the last year,
Yeah.
and now he's using AI. What is happening, Chad?
I don't know.
What is going on with you, man?
Well, you peer pressured me into Facebook, and I still don't like it. So I think the only thing that I'm posting on Facebook is the AI generated images that are really corny of me and Jason.
Hey, you know what? I thought about that earlier today. I was thinking, okay, Chad's just now getting to use Facebook a little bit.
Getting to. I
Getting
like how he
to.
says getting to.
And the first things that he's using with Facebook is AI images,
Yeah.
right? And I'm like, okay, that's going to be Chad's new thing. He's going to
Yeah.
be AI image creator guy.
Because I think, well, I think 90% of what goes on Facebook is fake anyway. So why not just put fake images on there? You know, like everything.
That's true.
Everything you see on Facebook is there's a little bit of, well, in the internet in general or social media,
No, but everything's true on the internet, Chad.
right. There's a certain level of BS. So why not
You know
just
why?
make it even more fake?
Because the majority of people only put the good stuff that happens to them on there. They don't put the bad stuff, right?
You know,
Right. People don't want to brag about bad stuff.
Like I
Right?
did. Like, you know, when I spilled the paint in the back of my truck that ended up in your driveway, I'd put it on there because I think it's funny.
Well, you thought it was funny, yeah.
like-
You know, I was trying to find like a pink card GIF to put on there on your post, but I couldn't find one.
well, is it GIF or GIF?
GIF, whatever you want it to be.
Peanut
think
butter?
Tomatoes, tomatoes.
No, not the peanut butter.
What are you talking about?
The GIF. Is
Oh,
it
a GIF. Yes, it's GIF. GIF.
So it's a GIF.
GIF or GIF?
I say GIF.
I say GIF.
I think of GIF like peanut butter.
That's JIF.
But you also can spell Jeffrey with a G, right?
Yeah, that's Geoffrey.
Joffrey.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's official. A GIF is a GIF.
I'm saying
According to the creator, he uses GIF.
Oh.
But I don't care. I'm
Gotcha.
gonna say GIF.
What would you call it?
I would say GIF.
GIF.
Everybody that know calls it.
I've said from the beginning GIF.
Well, I guess we're all
So
going to have to start
Jason's a whole another level of intelligent than we are.
Apparently.
Are you an AI?
He's a bot.
Maybe I'm an alien,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, possibly.
I mean, could one of us four be an alien? I don't know.
That's a whole nother podcast.
Topic.
Yeah,
I
man.
don't think I am.
I'll briefly touch on what I saw the other night. I know we're getting I guess it's a little bit of an AI story. So on YouTube, I was watching this guy, and they had Elon Musk that came on. So the guy had ALS, right? And Elon has developed some sort of little computer chip that ties into the guy's brain. So the guy was historically had to sit up there, and he would look at a screen. The screen would capture with a camera his retina, and wherever he looked for long enough, it would select that letter. So he was able to communicate with his kids. Now he didn't have to look anywhere. His brain, as long as the brain functions and it reads that chip, he can control everything. Like he can actually play video games and all kinds of stuff now.
Is it Neuralink?
I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're talking about AI today. Let's get started with talking about the platforms.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chad, can you name them all?
Some people know a lot about AI, and there's some that are probably going to be listening to this episode, and they've heard the words of ChatGPT. They've heard AI, right? AI stands for artificial intelligence, but there's a few different platforms out there, right, that you can use to utilize AI. The most commonly known one is going to be ChatGPT, right? We also have Copilot with Microsoft, which is really more or less used on the business side, I would say, right? Gemini would be Google's platform of AI.
Did you say like Jim and I or Gemini?
Gemini.
Okay.
Which used to be Bard, and it used to be Bard, then it became Gemini.
Okay.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
And then we have some private codes or ways to develop and build your own AI platform, right? You could take maybe Gemini's instance or ChatGPT's backend model, create your own version of it where your information that you request or ask for doesn't get leaked out there, right? What other platforms are there?
You've got Gronk.
Gronk, which is Twitter's or
Right,
X.
yep.
Gronk? Like Rob
No, so not
Gronkowski?
Gronk.
Yes,
Gronk.
Gronk. So you can, if you have Twitter or X, the platform, Elon has launched Gronk, which is built into X.
Okay.
So if you get a Twitter or X account,
I've got that. I don't tweet.
okay. Well, you mentioned earlier.
It's not Twitter anymore.
We'll dive
I don't
into
X.
we'll dive into accounts and costs and stuff here in a bit. But you mentioned having to pay for the paid version of ChatGPT.
Yeah.
You can use Gronk for free if you have a Twitter account. There might be a paid version. I don't know, but maybe you can get more for free with Gronk. Okay. So something to think about.
DeepSeek by the Chinese.
DeepSeek
Claude.
was the clone version of ChatGPT, right? Or so they say. That's the Chinese version. I think you can download that for free.
Cue up the
Right?
image of me like losing interest. Like the
No, this is all important stuff. Is there anything else, JT? Any other platforms? Those are the major ones.
Those are the major
right?
ones that I've used. But I mean, you've got AI baked into a lot of these platforms, right? Like even HubSpot, right?
What's your preferred method, and do you think there's a huge difference of all of these platforms right now? You like ChatGPT, right?
Yes and no. And there's also Claude. So I meant to say Claude. So Claude's really good
Claude?
at Claude. Yeah, like Claude.
like Claude.
Like Claude?
Like Claude.
Okay.
I've used them all, but my favorite one is ChatGPT, just because it has GPTs that you can build inside of it. Also,
What's GPT stand for? Do you know?
I have no idea, man.
Is that the integration, or
I couldn't tell you. I have no idea what GPT stands for. I just know.
Okay.
So the GPTs are kind of like apps within ChatGPT.
right? The app integrations.
Generative pre-trained transformer.
What's that again?
Generative pre-trained transformer.
Gotcha.
Okay.
It's
I
kind of
could
like,
count on
so
Will.
let's say that I wanted to have an app or a GPT to help me with math problems. Somebody has gone out and trained it only on math. So that's what it focuses on. So it's supposed to be a more robust kind of tool. So whenever you're typing stuff into it, it's only going to specifically try to give you information on that topic, right?
But you have to download that specific app within ChatGPT. It's already pre-built in. You just got to ask it.
You just have to you go over to the search icon, you click on the search icon, and it says explore GPTs, and then you type in what you want, and there's a plethora of them.
Okay, because I've tried
That's a big word for many.
because I've researched ChatGPT, for example, building out a website, and there's like a special integration or a GPT that you select to help you build a website. But I've noticed there's a lot of stuff out there like that. And so my thinking on it is that's an app inside of ChatGPT that maybe you have to add into your instance, into your account. But you're saying you don't have to do that.
You don't have to add it into your account. You can,
Okay.
I guess maybe it's a difference of communication here. You click on it, and it's not in your account. It's just accessible now.
Okay. So it's like on a drop down.
It's on a drop down. That's all it is, yeah. There is no like install this extra app like Microsoft on the backside of 365, right?
Yeah.
And so you got to install those. No, it's just you click and it comes
It's
up
already
and
there.
You're there, yeah.
Okay. That's awesome. So there's many different platforms. What is there anybody that's taken market share from ChatGPT yet, or are they still number one as far as market share?
I couldn't tell you because I've never even looked. I just know it. I use ChatGPT because I'm able to go get those GPTs. It does a lot of good coding work for me. So, I mean, I've kind of found the platform that works for me the best. So I really couldn't answer that. Maybe
Okay.
you can do some research on that. I mean,
Yeah.
Chad, do you know?
I was just curious. So I mean, I use ChatGPT AI a lot during the day in a work environment for brainstorming, right? And maybe creating an image here or there. Chad knows about that a little bit. But for me, it's about getting ideas, right? And I think there's probably many people listening to this that use it day to day in their job to get ideas, or maybe to how to put a special format together on writing a paper or creating a Word doc, whatever, right? Or integration in with Excel. I know you use it a lot of times for that, Chad, or JT, not Chad. He's not using that yet.
No.
To take the ChatGPT information and input it into Excel very easily, right? So those are the kind of things that's out there readily available now for work. If you're not using it for that, you should, right? It helps cut down hours and hours
Yeah.
of time frame.
I mean, you've seen some of the stuff I've already put together for us, right? I mean, if I was to hand code that would take me a month to do all that, to make it, to get everything working. No, I just literally sit there and talk to it like it's a human being, or it's a computer engineer or a coder, and we work through the problems, and I can have that stuff done in a day.
Yeah. Does ChatGPT has I've researched and seen a way for it to almost interview you in what you prefer, the type of person that you are. You tell it a subset of answers or give it back, answers to questions. Is it worth to do that? Does it benefit what you get back?
I think I need to do that with mine if I'm gonna keep
Yeah.
this thing. I need to do it because it doesn't seem to know me.
I mean, it
very
can because it learns the way you talk, right? And so if you're
Yeah.
using it for emails and things, you don't want it to give you one response this way this time and then give a completely different response this way, right?
well.
Yeah.
But okay, so I've got to.
So there's a way for it to learn Chad, and I think it would benefit Chad for ChatGPT to know you
Yeah.
and what kind of responses you prefer, right?
Well, so riddle me this: how does it know? I've not uploaded any images containing, for example, where Baylor is going to college, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not loaded any image. And this is the scary thing about it to me that I'm kind of like standoffish with this ChatGPT. There's no image of anybody playing baseball or at the baseball field or anything like that I've loaded in this thing. It will generate images on these funny images that I've been creating, and they'll have a University of Tennessee Chattanooga logo in it.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll have like a baseball bat, and it'll have like baseball stuff.
You know, there's
Why?
There's a whole theory that your phone just is sitting there listening to you all day long, especially when you have like Siri, you've got Alexa in your house, and just sitting there listening, right? Where is all that data going, right? Maybe your phone's doing the same thing, and it stores it somewhere, and ChatGPT has figured out where on your phone it is.
Yeah, I don't
so
like
it has
that.
more
I don't think I
metadata.
like that.
Well, did you mention UTC when you were talking to it
No,
at all?
no. Because I don't talk to it. I'm like Jason makes fun of me too. I'm not a talk to text guy either. Like I don't do the Hey Siri.
So you're a
thing.
text and driver?
No, I just don't. Shut up, JT.
Yeah, I think what you can do today, I was just looking at something, but I think what you can do today is ask ChatGPT just to interview you to get to know you better.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you just ask it and it'll ask you a subset of questions.
Will's died laughing.
Actually, it's the robot button. So nobody's
It was like it's perfect. It's
We're
perfect.
testing out the AI in real
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
But so you can ask it to interview you to get more personable with its answers back to you. So I guess a lot of that is, do you want ChatGPT to know you better? Do you want to give it all your information? Right?
Like-
I know a lot of people are scared to do that.
I think yes and
I gave
no.
my credit card.
You gave it your credit card?
You had to pay for the subscription.
Well, but I think yes
That's
and
true.
I think yes and no though.
Yeah.
I think you probably, for it to perform like it should know you better,
Yes.
right?
But is it going to, I guess if you use it enough anyways, it's going to get to know you better over time. But from the get-go, go through the interview process.
Right. It probably would be a better performing product if
I've used it over the last year and a half, and so it knows pretty much anything and everything about me. And now it actually has the memory where it stores all that, so it can go back and look through that data set.
I would hate to look at Jonathan's. Back when you and GPT were dating, at first introduced
You mean
each
the
other.
you mean the
We recorded.
you mean holding on to your history of what you've asked it? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
It holds a lot
It
of
holds
it.
all
Like,
of
Right.
that, yeah.
Is that
It used to not do that.
that's not infinite though, right? I mean, it's probably gonna not hold it for. I mean, maybe it will hold it
Didn't
forever.
so the temporary chats now in ChatGPT, it says it will hold it for 30 days. So I mean, who knows how long for the other stuff it's going to be there.
Okay.
I could go back and look.
Are we going to be at some point it not having to get to know us, and it's going to know us from the time that we're born till the time we
gosh.
start using it?
Man, that sounds like we could write a movie script on that, man.
But you know what I'm saying? AI is going to be at a point 20, 30 years where it's going to know everything about you before you even start asking it stuff.
Maybe, who knows?
30 years.
It will. I mean, it's going to
Could be
morph.
10.
It's going to morph into that. Maybe
10?
sooner.
I think there'll.
I should have been born in the.
I think there'll be an
50s.
AI war between countries because everything's going to be infiltrated, right? What was that movie where AI infiltrated like the banking system and everything else, and it started like it took down the world? I forget the name of the movie.
I probably didn't watch that one. I'm more of a
Yeah, I remember that. It was like a 1980s or 90s movie.
I'm more of a Days of Thunder
early
type.
2000s, but it actually it infiltrated the internet. It created its own like sub agents, and it started trading on the international market, and it was making it took over the entire world.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I wasn't born yet.
Chad
lost
was in La La Land.
You
there.
lost me on that one. I was looking for Will to rescue me,
If you can't tell, Chad's got squirrel a lot, and
Yeah.
you got to wrangle him in sometimes.
Yeah.
So business wise, AI is becoming a very important tool. Not everybody's using it yet, but it's being adopted pretty quickly.
What
I would
percentage
say.
of businesses do you think use it?
Well, I had this conversation at a business lunch yesterday with a couple of business executives, 3 exactly, and they don't use AI every day in their job, which I found surprising.
I don't find it surprising.
You didn't find that surprising?
No.
I kind of found it surprising. I thought that they would have been using it more often, but they don't.
I think of just even outside of the business world, and I think of my friend group, for example, and what all of them do for a living. I would say I'm the only person that has ChatGPT on their phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a lot of friends like that, and so
And then
But there's
GPT,
going to become a point in time where I think if you don't use it, you could possibly get behind.
I think maybe this is
Depending on the
good.
business you're in.
Yeah, behind on what though?
Behind on your competition.
100%.
Like
Because
if we as a company, which we do, we have the ability to learn, know, and develop tools within AI because we're small and nimble. We can win over opportunities and get them done a lot quicker, right? At less cost. We're going to win more business.
In theory,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's what we have to keep in mind.
Think of it from this perspective. So one of the guys that's on the hockey board with us, I said, hey, I don't have time to read through these 37 text messages you guys sent. I took and copy and pasted, put it in ChatGPT and say, how do I respond? And it gave me a response. I was like, oh, and it also gave me a summary of, so I didn't have to read through every single one of them. And I told the guy on the board, then he goes, I'm going to do that with all my work emails. So I don't have to freaking respond to anybody. And so that's what he has.
But that's what's
But can you automate it yet?
Oh, 100% well, not, I'm sure you can, but like Copilot from the Microsoft platform.
Yeah.
You can literally click a button and it would summarize everything.
Okay. What would be beneficial for me in that instance is general responses on a text or email without even having to look at it or input it into the AI platform, right?
So that platform that we're using to send all the automated emails that we're doing, it literally has that built in. And
Yeah.
so if we set it up to where it has a positive response, it'll send out a subset of emails, another sequence.
Sure.
So it can literally read all that. I mean, you can set all that up with automation.
So we're already there with email, with text. I'm sure there's some platforms out there, but maybe you have to have those numbers or people loaded into that platform. I don't know. There's nothing living on an iPhone yet that will automatically do that, I guess is what
I don't think I want it auto responding to my text.
I bet there's an app out there that'll do it. Like, just picture this.
If you were selling on your phone all day via text,
But I do a lot.
yeah.
I do a lot on my phone.
I think
I probably do as much phone call and text as I do email.
Yeah.
Think of us as young studs, right? Back in the day when we were messaging multiple girls at the same time, right?
I didn't do that.
You didn't do that at all. Okay, neither did I. But I'm thinking of one of the guys that I knew. But just think, if
I was a one woman kind of guy.
if he had an app on his phone that could literally just respond to all those females at the same time.
No, that's how you get in trouble, man.
But it's so smart enough, it knows when to contact and who not to contact. And he knows because that person's her friend and all kinds of stuff. That'd be a cool app for a young stud.
Hey,
Right?
well, that's a good transition into the parenting talk, right? With AI,
Yeah.
like we should be aware of our teenage boys, right? Doing this kind of stuff for females, right? Girls doing it.
Wow.
I think parenting in general with AI today is it's something that us parents need to know about, right? We need to know what kind of capability is out there for our kids, what they shouldn't be doing, right? Around homework and tests and things like that. Let's dive into that a little bit.
Yeah.
So Chad, you're just now getting familiar with AI, ChatGPT.
Yeah, because I got old kids.
Well, you mentioned your daughter
Yeah.
knows it very well.
Yeah, well, probably way better than I do. I think both kids probably do I don't want to say better than
And they're in
do,
high
but
school,
Yeah, well,
right?
we're 2 days away from Baylor graduating high school, so
Okay.
soon to be out of high school, and then an upcoming junior in high school. So, I mean, they use it for paper ideas or help with papers, but they can't use it. I'm sure Will's familiar. Like their teachers have AI detection software,
Yeah.
right? So
But there's a way around that.
I'm sure if you got 20 kids in class and 20 kids are writing a paper on the exact same subject, if you enter that information, or, you know, if you uneducatedly enter the information in ChatGPT, some of those papers are going to come out pretty similar.
Yeah.
So the software to detect it's got to be pretty easy.
Yeah, if you had 20 students saying, write me a paper over
Yeah.
Muhammad Ali's
Yeah.
career or
Yeah,
something, it's going to look very similar for
Right.
all 20 kids.
So I think that, so my experience with it has pretty much been that both kids I think have used it to some extent to help with information gathering more than anything. Instead of Googling 15 different times,
Yeah.
they're using that as Google.
It's no difference in Google in that situation,
Right.
right? But they're getting the information quicker
Right.
in one instance.
Yeah, they're going one place to get it. Am I correct, Will? Is that more like what it's used for in education?
Yeah. As far as the software goes, actually it flags a lot of things that like aren't AI. Like if I write out a paper, I bet it would flag 15 to 20% of my words as AI. So it's not very good. I think mostly where you can detect it is maybe less so with research papers, but with like literary papers, what it says like isn't really much substance. So even if you put it in and the teacher doesn't realize it's AI and they
Yeah.
grade it, there's really nothing
It's like word vomit.
there. Exactly. Because
Yeah.
it's basically auto correct on crack.
Well, the
Yeah.
way that they're catching it, from what I understand, is because the rise of certain words. There's a article I read a while back ago, and I can't specifically tell you every single word, but you can look at it and you can see, oh yeah, all right, I do notice that these words pop up, and my response is a lot. Dang, and I don't talk that way, right? And so it kind of goes back to the smaller ones, and not going to be essays, but the teacher, if they're talking to somebody and they're not using large words, right? They're country, or they don't have a very large vocabulary.
What are you trying to say?
I pointed at the wall, buddy. I didn't point at you.
I felt targeted.
Just wait. It's coming. If they don't have a very large vocabulary, then that's definitely going to jump out to the teacher, right? So
Absolutely.
Definitely.
That's my experience with it. I mean, we were just talking before the show. I have been helped because I wanted to make all these funny images of me and Jason. I paid for the month of ChatGPT. So my daughter needs to do some almost like a children's book, I guess, for her Spanish class. And she's wanting me to create images on ChatGPT with it. So I've spent some of my time today making a children's book with ChatGPT images. And for that purpose, it's really good.
Are all the images copyright free in ChatGPT?
I doubt. I would say there's no way.
Because
for it
that's
to
one
be.
concern about taking photos online, right? If you're just doing a Google search on images, you could possibly take an image that's copyright protected, right?
most people do because they don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, I've created a children's book here.
What you're supposed to do is if you post an image online that you've taken from Google, you're supposed to give credit,
Whoever credit,
right?
Yeah.
It says that it's owned by the person who creates them,
Oh,
Okay.
which is interesting.
So you're an artist now.
now I'm an artist.
So now Chad is officially
I'm an
artist.
illustrator.
So
Artistrator.
I mean, that's really cool. So parents out there, right, business people, if you go on and create your own images on ChatGPT, those images are owned by you.
So the image that I created of you and I,
You should tell it to
as
put your
wrestlers.
signature on the image just to be
you
safe.
and I as wrestlers. I'm an I'm a content creator.
No pun intended.
My mullet on that image,
Pristine.
Hey,
I had it when I
it
was
was
12.
good. But hey, to go back to your children's book thing, that brings up a really good point, an idea. Think of all of the people out there for years and years and years that have created children's books,
Yeah.
and you theoretically had to be an artist of
artist.
some form
Yep.
to create a children's book.
Yep.
Now you could create a children's book in a day on ChatGPT.
You also had to understand how to write a book. Now you don't have to. Now you
Exactly.
literally, you can get a twofer. There are people out there at the early beginning stages of ChatGPT in image creation. They made that their business model. Had the books written, the images, and then they found somebody to publish it, and they put it on Amazon, and they sold them on Amazon. People are doing that.
But
Yeah.
you know, it's pretty flawed. I'm gonna show you 2 images, and you can like react to them. It's pretty flawed. Like, you see this image of the mom decorating the pin, hanging the pinata
Yeah,
and moving.
that's
the
a good
decoration.
image, though.
Right? Like, it's
It
really
looks
good.
good.
It's perfect. It's what we needed.
Yep.
But if you look at the very next image, it's almost like one of those books where what's different in these 2 photos, it takes the polka dots off her dress in the next image. And it consistently does things like that. Like, there'll be a floating bouquet of flowers in an image. Or there'll be, like, if you zoom in on the...
You know why I did that?
What?
So you would pay for the subscription, be able to get more images made.
Well, I've already paid. I'm paying
Oh,
for
you'd
it.
already paid for it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
This was
Yeah.
this was today.
This was today. Yeah, this was today. And like, the image, of the little girl getting her birthday present is, she looks different in that image,
Yeah.
opening her presents.
So ChatGPT's image model used to be a lot worse. It's got, me and Jonathan talked about this. It's gotten a lot better in the last few months.
Okay.
Or last 6 months.
It's
Okay.
crazy. And actually, there's other platforms like Leonardo.ai that literally you can go in and that's all it does. It just generates pictures. It has a instant function too. So
Is that a cost for that one, or is it free? Leonardo.
there's a cost.
There's a cost.
Yeah, but
Okay.
it gives you a free trial.
Okay.
Like you get so many credits.
Gotcha.
And so anyway, and then there's also an API that you can get into, so you can make your own little platform if you wanted to. But the cool thing that what I wanted to say is it actually has a chat function where you can literally just whatever you type out, it instantly creates that image, like just like that.
ChatGPT is pretty slow creating an image,
This one's not.
and it times out quite a bit. I have found that it. If you like the images, like if you're like, hey, you did a good job making this one, the other images seem to be better after
quicker.
that.
It uses less processing power to
Yeah,
create the next
I don't
ones.
know if that's it or if it's like, oh, okay, these are more the details he wants. And then it'll sometimes generate 2 images, like of the same when you request something, and it'll ask you which one you prefer.
Oh, that's a
So-
nice feature, though.
Yeah, that's been like it's helpful.
Yeah.
On some of this stuff. I mean, like I said, I started doing it really to have a reason to post things, and while I think they've been pretty silly, right? What I've been putting on there, I started them for LinkedIn just to like see what people would say. They've created a ton of interaction,
Yeah,
like
they have.
a reason for somebody to comment something. And,
Absolutely.
And if it made somebody laugh today, then whether they buy something from us or not, good.
Yeah.
Right?
Chad's
They-
happy about it.
Yeah, they made somebody laugh and somebody got a chuckle. Look at these 2 idiots. You know,
Let's talk about the. We mentioned how AI can help with homework, right? Brainstorming, gathering
Yeah.
ideas for kids. They're going to get caught if they use it word for word, more than likely, right? It's going to look like other people.
I
right?
think so.
But think it from this aspect or perspective. So with my kids, they're in elementary school and they're doing some Common Core stuff, and there's some math problems that I'm not the greatest at math, right? And so I can literally take a picture, upload it to either at the time I was using Bard, which is now Gemini, which is the Google one. It's easier to do, and take a snapshot and say, hey, help me figure out how to solve this problem, and it would literally write out exactly what I needed to do.
It shows the work and everything.
It shows the work and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
and
great.
so for there, I mean, that's a great tool to have, right?
Yeah.
Or think of it as you're in a foreign country and you can't communicate with that person, and you just didn't download the translation app. You can take a picture of it, say translate this into a different language, right?
Yeah, but my phone does that
I'm just
already.
Saying, I'm just saying if you didn't have that on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is so we started talking about that, and I think this is a good place to talk about it. When we were sitting here talking before the show, Jonathan was giving me a hard time and was like, well, you need this app and that app and this app. I'm like the minimalist guy. Like, I don't want Waze on my phone. Apple Maps is fine. Like, I don't need other, the only app that I have on my phone, like out of the box.
That's why Apple is good for you.
Exactly. And that's like, I think we're going to have a show. We're going to talk Apple versus Android. Also, the weather apps are the only apps that I go outside of the App Store to get stuff because of the radar and things like that. But so that's me. This is the kind of guy you're dealing. I don't want the extra.
Funny story. I had ChatGPT create me my own weather app and website. Like literally, I said, build this. And it went out and it found the free API for weather system. And then what it would do is it would give you a random image of a dog because it was pulling another API from a library of dogs, and then a quote, and then it would show you the weather. So people could like get a nice quote, they could see a cute dog, and then get their weather. And it wrote it in about 60 seconds.
Created an Android app.
Yes.
Yeah.
AI is amazing. We're using AI. Speaking of this podcast in general, we're using AI also for the video side to help cut down a lot of time on our reels.
Yeah.
Right. When we're putting reels out there, it'll look at our hour-long podcast very quickly, and it'll say, "Okay, here's 20 good reels of 60 seconds. Boom.
These are the best.
In 15 minutes,
and
you're done."
Do you feel like though, like I have this? I guess maybe it's like maybe I'm an old soul, but I have this fear that it's like missing some of the good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it can miss some of the good, but you can always go into the editor and say, I want to go back 10 seconds or I want to go forward 10 seconds.
Yeah.
So while it's not perfect, you can go in and make changes.
It also allows you to say, find the moment where we talked about dogs or something like that.
And how much
Yeah.
time did that save you, and what's your time worth is really what it boils down to. Does
Yeah.
it
Will's
be
time.
100% perfect? No, but it's going to help you.
Yeah. I mean, how long were you spending on creating 4, 5, 6 reels?
Yeah, I probably spend a third of the time now
Yeah. A third of the time. So
to make just as many, if not more reels. Yeah.
yeah. So
You're going to pay him less now?
huge amount.
Will's like, no.
It's taking me twice as much time.
Yeah. AI
Will's got an opportunity to make more money. We'll just say that.
Yeah.
But so let's talk about the concerns maybe that parents might have other than, hey, is my kid doing homework on ChatGPT when he shouldn't or she shouldn't? Is AI images and safety around? We're talking about images. Is that a concern for parents these days for your kids' images to get out there and for another child to get a hold of the image?
To manipulate the image or
Manipulate the image, right? There's been a lot of stories on that recently in the news that I've seen.
So I don't know that can, I'm sure like that's a concern, but like I created the wrestler picture of you and I. I tried to create the wrestler picture where like Jason was like shirtless and big and muscular. Every time I tried to tell it to do that, it said that I was violating something ChatGPT.
Well, that's good.
On trying to recreate what I look like, it was
Yeah,
violating?
like-
Okay, so
like-
that's something new maybe.
Yeah, so it was like I was trying to like my guy was how I wanted him, right? Like like the finished image. Anybody can go. Will can link the image, but my guy was like exactly what I wanted him to look like. But I wanted Jason's guy to be like the guy holding the 2x4 and only like the wrestling underwear and be like have 6-pack abs and all that.
Yeah.
But I guess the picture that I generate and a couple examples, it would not remove your shirt. Like it had to, like anytime I told it to do that, it had to have a shirt.
Okay.
I
So
tried
it wasn't
to,
your face then. It was about
It's-
nudity.
yeah, I guess it was.
Okay.
And I tried to do the same thing with an image of Baylor and one of his friends to make them wrestlers too. And every time I asked it to do it, it would tell me it violated.
Okay. So there's maybe newer rules within ChatGPT AI in general for parents to know about that. Hey,
Yeah.
your image of your kid, people can't go on and make them without shirts and without clothes and things of that nature.
And I know there are those images out there. Like I mean, somebody sends you one. And it's like, hey, this is Britney Spears, and I'm like, it's not really Britney Spears. It's like, or whoever. It's got their face on some nude body. That's in it. You can tell.
Well, you
it's
could
not
do,
them.
you could. So I wonder if you could take an image of whatever you can find online and just put somebody's
Put
face
your
on
face on it. I don't know. Maybe I could try.
it, right?
I'm sure there's places.
I've got
out
an
there that-
idea of one.
Maybe
to use.
ChatGPT doesn't allow that, but maybe there's some
gotta,
other.
yeah. There's probably
out there.
another one out there that does.
Yeah.
But so far, and look, I'm not. All I do is tell it what kind of elementary humor that I want,
Yeah.
and to create an image, and that's what it does.
Okay.
So
Man, just wait. Give it a couple months here, and you'll be leaning on it for all kinds of things.
I would love to go back to this show because I do let it, like, we can on the work side. I do let it create like some canned like outreach emails and things.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think it's good for LinkedIn posts, like some general technology information, and like it's really good for like if you say wanted to make a Wednesday social post every Wednesday that was a fun technology fact from this day in technology. It's really good for that stuff.
Yeah. Well, I think we all experience brain fog,
For
a
sure.
time or two. Maybe I'm thinking more clearly between 10 and 2 during the day.
Yeah.
And at 8 o'clock in the morning, I'm not thinking as clearly. So I at least know what to ask ChatGPT to come up with some ideas on something, right? That's
Yeah.
kind of when I use it.
Yeah.
Right. Because I have higher alert times throughout the day where maybe I don't need to use ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
100%.
but from a parenting standpoint, right, we're talking about that. Maybe the image stuff that could be a concern, but there's some safeguards in play with ChatGPT.
I mean, maybe
Right?
I've got mine sit on like I'm a 16-year-old. I don't know, but it so far it's done a good job of like
I used
weeding that out.
to work for a youth suicide prevention and awareness foundation, and suicide is the second leading cause of death in the ages of, I believe it's 10 to 24, and at least it was like 4 or 5 years ago. But I wonder if there's any safeguards around like suicidal images and dark images and things like that. If anything's been instilled into ChatGPT, not that we would know because we're not looking into that, right? So
I don't know. Like from my experience on it, it seems like a safer platform than Google or YouTube.
Yeah.
Like so far, like the information and like what I'm getting out of it is way more PG than anything that's easy to get on any of the other platforms.
Yeah. That's a good point, Chad.
I don't know, but I know when I first started using it that you want to test the limits, right? You'd say, write this, or I want to write a bad text message to somebody that says, no, this violates our policy and things like that. So, I mean, it could be very helpful, and I'm sure that there's other large language models, LLMs, out there that you can pay for that will do that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of wondered, like, this is really off the rails, but like talking, like parenting and children, like I've not put it in my app, but like how to make like drugs and how to make out like, jail hooch or whatever. I don't know. You were talking about telling it to make dinner, but if it's going to do that, like,
Oh, well, I literally on Thanksgiving morning, one morning, I was like, you know what, let's see what ChatGPT will do. I took a picture of my turkey sitting in my sink, and I said, how do I cook this? And it told me exactly what to do, step by step. It asked me questions. It said, how many pounds is it? What do you want to cook it with or cook it on? I said, I want to cook it, in the oven. And on what temperature? And it gave me everything. And literally, I didn't have to do anything. I had to go out and have to research because I forget
Yeah.
every year, right?
Otherwise, you'd be looking at 5 different recipes on how to cook a turkey, right?
Yeah.
I think that's where I differ though, because if I'm going to do something like that, I want to go to the source that I respect their opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I'm
this
gonna,
is for my wife's family. I didn't care.
but you know what I'm saying? Like if I like with the proverbial turkey, right? For the Thanksgiving turkey, I don't want to ask ChatGPT. I want to know from somebody, like I follow a bunch of cooks and chefs on Instagram. I want to see what they cooked.
Yeah. Maybe it's pulling from one of those. Who knows?
Yeah, it could be.
It could
Maybe
be.
I got emeralds. I don't know.
Yeah, but that's my point. I wouldn't use ChatGPT for that. I would go to the source for that. Now, you may be able to go into ChatGPT and say, "Hey, how would Jason Baxter cook his turkey?" And it may have that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, if he had all that information listed on a website or something
website,
like that,
it
then
would.
it could actually go out and pull that data.
Then
and
it would
get
do
back to
that.
you,
Yeah.
real quick.
So should us as parents should we be concerned with our 13-year-old, 15-year-old son, daughter downloading ChatGPT?
Yes.
We should be.
But I think you should be concerned about it the same way you should be concerned about
Instagram.
Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter,
Yeah.
whatever else. I mean, like an iPhone in general, you should, or a smartphone in general, you should be concerned.
Now, here's the thing. We know that ChatGPT keeps the history search stuff,
Yeah.
right? So what I do know is you can do the paid for version of ChatGPT. I think you can get 2 users on it, or there's like a 2-user account.
Okay.
So if you're a parent concerned on that, you could theoretically do a 2-user account, share an account, and see
Yeah.
the history.
I wonder if eventually they'll come out with like security protocols, like you have for YouTube. I know with my children,
Like
if they're
parental
under
controls.
yeah, parental controls and things like that. So if they're under a certain age, they can't see certain things, or they can't do certain things, they can't post, they can't comment, they can't make their own videos like that.
You would think so to some extent. I mean, to me, when I looked, like, I guess to add to your question, I don't necessarily think ChatGPT is any more dangerous than the text app on your phone
Well, that's what I was wondering.
or
yeah.
your camera.
Or Google search, to your point earlier.
Like to me, like the text and camera feature on a cell phone for a teenager is just as dangerous as any other app, if not used properly.
Right.
Like it just is.
But one thing I think you and I were discussing this a little earlier that we both read a story on was a lady who had a child and couldn't calm their baby down, right? Had no idea what to do, didn't have anybody they could call, literally got on artificial intelligence, ChatGPT, typed in what was going on, and ChatGPT literally walked her through on how to calm down the baby.
Yeah. Well, that's a good segue, JT. So the next thing I was going to talk about is, should parents rely on AI to help them out with parenting?
I don't think they should rely on it, but I think that
A new parent, JT. I'm a new parent. I've got a newborn at home, and it's crying or it's doing
why
something.
didn't you read the book?
And because I don't read books anymore, all I do is use ChatGPT.
and you have no you have no friends or family with prior child care experience.
I can't. They're not available right now. I can't get a hold of them.
Or you live out in the middle of nowhere and like literally all you get is a cell signal, so you're able to, oh, cool.
I don't know.
I mean, there's a lot of different reasons why, Chad. But to your point, should we rely on ChatGPT to give us parenting advice? Right? Emotional support, parenting, questions on why my baby's crying, doing this and that. I mean, is it any different than a Google search? I mean, I know there's a ton of parents out there that Google search, what's wrong with my baby?
Probably too much.
Here's the symptoms.
But when you Google something, you get what? You get the ads at the top. You get a whole bunch of different pages. It's all about your search engine optimization, SEO.
An AI summary.
Yeah, well, yeah, you do get that now, but literally
An AI summary in Google.
in Google,
right?
yeah. But I mean, but what these ChatGPT and Grok and everything else, it's cutting through the noise. It's giving you the instant information that you need right then, right?
But how do we know it's reliable and true?
That's my point.
Like, can we 100% undoubtedly say this is the right information?
No, because down at the bottom it says it can sometimes get there's responses wrong.
The way I guess my stance.
Give your child the blue pill.
Yeah, my stance on that.
A cup of
is-
gasoline is good for them.
Yeah, I mean, look, like there have been children raised in this world long before ChatGPT was ever a thing, long before the internet.
Oh, yeah.
We were raising kids when there was no internet.
But we
When there
were
were no
we were
phones.
much more in a communal
Yeah,
type of environment where we were with parents, in-laws, sisters, brothers. Now people are out on their own.
there's also
You know what I mean?
There's also a baby being born right now in some tribe in Africa that has no access to any of this technology that we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
That baby's going to be colicky or whatever,
Yeah,
and that baby's going to be just fine.
just fine.
100%.
But that doesn't mean that if they didn't have ChatGPT in their hand, they wouldn't look something up.
They would probably be like, "What?"
I don't think that you necessarily need to rely on it for every facet of your life. That just makes you brainless, right? You're just an empty shell.
To my point, like
Yeah.
we're going to have a brainless society in the
Yes.
future if we get too used to using
Yeah, I-
ChatGPT.
I
But
think
if you can use it as your assistant, kind of like I do, in kind of like you do, right? You want it to generate those ideas. You want it to help you get through and make those breakthroughs. If you use it that way, awesome. But if you're just solely relying on it to run your everyday life, then why don't you just go ahead and put a chip in your brain and just turn
Yeah.
No,
turn
but
the
Here-
lights off?
Here's a good thing to think about. The scenario I think about in my head is think back to 1990 when you're in the car with your family.
Yeah, Casey
And-
Kasem, or we're listening to Casey Kasem.
Casey Kasem's on the radio.
Yeah.
And your dad has the map like across the windshield.
What kind of car are we riding in? Take me back.
Oh, please say in a wagon.
Yeah.
A 1985 Oldsmobile Cutlass. I don't know.
Let's go.
Now you're talking. Yes.
And the map is across the windshield. The wife, your mom's over here screaming, "Look at the road!"
You're wearing shorts and your
don't-
legs it's hot because the air didn't really work that good, and your bottom of your legs are
Yeah.
sticking to the pleather. Yeah.
But I'm just thinking back to when we had to look at a map and figure out where to go. We remembered.
For sure.
We remembered what
For
turns
sure.
we took, where we went. Now with GPS, we're just punching the address. Do you really remember the route?
I love that point. Yes. You're so spot on.
Isn't that the same thing as
It's the same
I didn't
ChatGPT?
know the main road in my neighborhood for the first 5 years that I lived there because I literally would just hit the button on GPS and it just says turn left.
Yeah,
You had to do that for 5 years?
I'm just saying.
he's got two turns.
Who gave this guy a job?
I'm talking about
He couldn't get home for 5 years. He was having a GPS. He literally lived.
And it was two turns.
2 turns. 2 O's and goose.
But no, does that analogy make sense? I mean, like we all get that, right? Because when we don't use GPS, we remember the turns.
or a calculator in simple math.
Yeah,
You know.
doing it ourselves.
Yeah.
Right. So if we are a new society, our kids, if they are our grandkids, if they're used to finding out the answers with ChatGPT, they're not going to remember.
No.
Right.
No,
Like we had to.
I don't think I don't think a lot of people. Haley gets on me all the time because of like these. She says I know so much useless information, like stuff that does not matter. But I think it's because that I have read it somewhere or watched it and soaked the information in a certain way.
You have a photographic memory,
Pretty
right?
much, like in a weird way, but only things that interest me. So if it doesn't interest me, I will not remember it. But I think that echoes your point a little bit. I don't think a lot of our, like the people coming up through education now, it will be the same because they've generated that answer or that fun fact or because they've sat there on YouTube and only watched the shorts and not watched the whole documentary.
Yeah.
You know, they just watched the highlights of something.
Well, I think to that point, right? If we're us as parents, if we're worried about getting an iPhone and iPad in our kids' hands too early,
Yeah.
we should be we should be thinking about that with AI as well too, right? I mean, right now AI only lives on a phone or application or computer.
Yes.
Eventually, maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's everywhere.
Yeah.
No,
Right?
gonna live
It's in a
everywhere,
toy. Or
It's already living in my kids,
Yeah.
my kids' apps because they've got our old phones and we let them use them. And my son wanted to create AI generated little not GIFs or GIFs, as you were
GIFs,
saying,
yeah.
GIFs, little avatars because he was wanting to put that on something that another game that he was playing. So I mean, it's already out there in our kids' apps.
Yeah. So let your kids learn how to solve problems on their own, right? Figure things
Yeah.
out on their own. Don't give them ChatGPT at too early of an age.
No,
that
give
would be
'em
my advice.
Give them a hammer and a nail.
Don't
Hammer
even
it
give
out.
the kids the Chromebooks like they're doing right now. Don't give them computers. Say everything has to be done. You have to write everything out, right?
Yeah.
Don't let the kids turn in typed out papers.
What's the safe age right now to give your kids electronics? What's the experts saying, right? I mean, I think Bill Gates had said there was no way he was going to ever give his kid a computer less than 13 or 15 years of age or something. Coming from Microsoft's founder.
Yeah.
I don't
100%
know.
on that. I gave electronics to our children way too early just because I love electronics. But I can tell you this, that my daughter knows how to build all sorts of images on Canvas or on Canva and do all that kind of stuff. Remember we were talking with
How
some
old are your
people?
kids again, JT?
8 and 10.
8 and 10.
And so now they know how to do that. Now they know how to type. So
Does
they're-
your 8 and 10-year-old have a phone? Both of them have a phone?
Yeah, but it's only connected to Wi-Fi. So as soon as it goes out, like,
Okay.
you don't get
So it's a
anything.
tablet, basically.
It's just basically a tablet, yeah.
Okay.
But he does have a Google number so I can call him. So if
Yeah.
I wanted to. So
Over Wi-Fi.
Only
Over
if they're on Wi-Fi.
only over Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Or hotspot.
That's Wi-Fi. Technically.
Yeah, that's still Wi-Fi. Jason's kids are,
I've got a 13-year-old and a 16-year-old.
yeah.
Yeah. And my son, 13, still no phone. He's got a computer, but he stays grounded from it all the time. So he's rarely on it. And my daughter has a phone with service. Obviously, she's 16 and driving, but I feel like we gave her a phone maybe a little too early. We
old was
learned
Jalen?
from that, and we haven't given our son a phone yet.
How old was Jalen when she got a phone?
I think she got a phone like Jonathan's kids have, where it was just Wi-Fi only, maybe at 10 or 11. And then she got a phone with a number, I think at 12 or 13.
12 or 13 is what grade? Like I
That's
don't, like,
7th grade, 8th grade,
Yeah.
or 7th grade. 6th or 7th grade.
okay.
Yeah.
Baylor's 18, Emma's 16. They had like iPads and things when they were kids or little. They didn't take them anywhere. We're like the no iPad, no phone at dinner. No, we're still that. Like an 18 and a 16-year-old with real phones and real phone numbers and all the
Yeah.
things.
Do they know not to bring their phone to dinner?
100%. We never like I don't want to say never have to, but I would bet money that if my kids are out to dinner with somebody that they're not on their phones. That it has been driven home with them. If we have to leave them in the car, and Haley and I are the same way. I don't want, so if you call me and I'm not answering my phone at dinner time, we make it a point to put the things away, to have a conversation with each other, enjoy the meal with each other.
Yeah.
And it's an hour out of your day. If
Yeah.
you can't do an hour without it. Now,
It's about living in the moment.
you
right?
live in the moment. And
Right.
now look, I'm sitting here, with an Apple Watch on. I can see if it's certain people that call, like if a parent called or
Wait, you're not taking off your Apple Watch at your meal?
no.
You're violating your own rules.
Yeah,
No,
buddy.
I'm not on it.
No seconds for you.
No on it. No, I'm not on it and playing on it and that sort of thing. That's the big point. You like, and you could go to any restaurant this evening and see a group of teenagers by themselves at the restaurant and they're all sitting there on their phone,
Yeah, exactly. So
not talking to each other. It's like Haley will say it, if we ever sit down and there's a couple close to our age or even older or younger or whatever, and they're like date night and we're date night, and that couple is sitting there like on their phones the whole time.
Yep.
It is like one of those things that it just,
Oh,
I
Brittany
see
and
it with the
she's-
younger generation a
she's
lot.
like, that's so sad.
Yeah,
like
Brittany and I.
they can't talk to each other. They're on the phone. So remember that, Will. Just have the conversation. So, but I
I
think
feel the same way. Yeah.
your parents are the same way. I think that's and Emma's got some friends that their parents were the exact same way. It was kind of refreshing the first time one of them went on vacation with us, and like she was the exact same. Like her phone was in her purse or wherever, and like she's right in the conversation with us, and I was like, good. We got somebody that's this kid's not
No influence,
not Snapchatting the whole way. Yeah.
Well, in that regards, I think that's a great thing to live by. We try to do the same thing. We do struggle with our kids sometimes turning on the TV or the daughter sneaking out the phone, and we have to, try to lay down the law there. But
Now,
it doesn't always hold.
At home, we're probably worse about it than, which isn't necessarily. At home, we're probably more distracted with electronics. We still try to set them down at the dinner table, but at home, a lot of times it's more loose, like the TV's on in the background or whatever. But
I've noticed here lately that I literally don't get on, ever I've been so busy doing things for work, that I literally, when I get home, I don't turn my phone off, but the only way I'll respond to something if I get a notification on my phone, or even my watch. And that's going to be mainly for work. If it's like something for social media that pops up, I'm like, I'll get to it at some point. Maybe I'll look at it the next morning.
Yeah.
I'm slowly getting away from social media. It feels like that. I don't know.
Yeah. It becomes a bear over time for sure. I think I kind of ebb and flow in social media. I'll get trapped into it for a while, and then I'll be like, I need a break, and I'll take a break. But I think, for AI in the future of child development, right? If we as parents say it's best that our kids don't get a phone or a tablet or a computer till they're 13, 14, 15, whatever, is AI going to play a factor in developing our kids differently? Probably not.
no,
Right? But it's going to be one of those things where if they do get it at a very young age, or it's infiltrating into your house in other ways other than a phone or tablet, then it could change child development.
yeah, like we don't even have like Alexas in our house.
No, we do.
Like
We do, yeah.
Yeah. I don't
Which
even
I
have-
guess,
And it's
that
great.
is AI. That's another form
And it's
of
made
AI.
me dumb, I feel like sometimes, because I can't answer the question. My daughter asked me something random. I'm like, I should probably know the answer, but hey, Alexa, what's the capital of whatever, right? And then it'll go and it'll tell me. So
Yeah, there it goes. Yeah, so I mean, we don't do that. We don't even have those at home. And I know, like, to be in the world that we're in, like I tell people all the time, even when meeting clients, I'm like the least. I don't want to rely on technology. Like I want it to serve its purpose, but it has a purpose, right? Like it does too much sometimes.
I'm just wondering, like, in 10 years, as we watch AI evolve, not only how fast is it going to progress for people like us, that utilize it, but for kids, if some of the parents are just going to adopt, just use ChatGPT. You're going to have some people that
Surely
that
not.
allow that. Yeah.
I guess I won't have kids at that age, so
Yeah.
No, but you got to also think that when we were growing up, that some people would allow their kids to drink beer or smoke a cigarette. They didn't care, right?
Yeah.
And so over the years, it just evolved that you shouldn't let them do that. So
Is AI making screen time smarter, you guys think, or more addictive?
probably more addictive. I don't think it's making screen time any more intelligent. Like,
I can tell you that I watch a lot of people on YouTube, and you can tell that the younger generations, like your 14, your 15-year-olds, they're definitely getting rich off of it because they're able to create apps, they're able to create softwares, they're able to create businesses.
Yeah.
And these people are making $20,000, $30,000 a month by selling to,
Selling or creating a million followers or whatever.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit yesterday about this guy that's sailing from Oregon to Hawaii by himself on a sailboat that he bought. He quit his corporate job, sold everything, his 401k off. He bought a sailboat, and he's documenting his whole experience on Instagram from Oregon to Hawaii on a sailboat. And he's already got 1.2 million followers in like 10 days.
I love that.
But he's using AI, right?
For what?
Instagram's algorithm, right?
Oh,
To create a following. I mean, that's essentially AI, right?
What do you mean?
Yeah, tell me more. What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, so if Instagram has a form of AI built into it to target you, if you're a boat guy or an adventure guy or whatever, to say, hey, now look at this guy that's traveling from Oregon to Hawaii.
He's also probably using it for some of his captions.
I mean,
too, right?
he's not. I don't know that you could say
He's
using
not, but Instagram is building off of that maybe. I don't know, but he's taking advantage of the platform.
He's taking advantage of the platform, but I wouldn't necessarily correlate that with him taking advantage of AI. Like
He's utilizing AI.
he's using Instagram.
No, one thing,
He's probably utilizing AI from some point to create his videos and other stuff, right? To post.
100%. There's also other people so sailing is one of the things that I watch the most of on YouTube. I watch people sail around the world all the time.
That would be a long ass video. You got a lot of time on your hands.
Okay, well this
You just said you watch people sail around the world all the time.
yeah.
You just said
He says he watches it like on a Saturday morning, like
that's
four
exactly-
people.
that gave Will a grin. It's like, man, you're like really dedicated. If you're watching one dude sail around the world,
Oh, it's not just one. I'll dig my own grave here, but it's a bunch. And so, anyway, to piggyback off what you're saying, in the same kind of software that we use, right? If you've got long content, long form content, you can literally put it into this system, and bam, now you've got what? How many does it pull out? All your reels?
Like 30 reels out of an hour.
Yeah.
But I mean, so if if an individual was at sea by himself, imagine 10, 20 years ago, he wouldn't be able to do this, right? He wouldn't be able to create the videos on time, post it the same day. So he is taking advantage of AI to create 1 million+ followers.
Yeah, you put everything together, then it makes sense.
yeah, I mean, he could be. I don't want to say he's not, but like, there's
I
been
think he's
people.
just taking advantage of Elon for Starlink.
Yeah,
He has Starlink on a sailboat too.
he's taking advantage of internet and a platform even more than he's taking advantage of AI. In my opinion, I mean, there's
true.
like during all the COVID stuff, it became really cool to camp, right? There was a bunch of like people that became popular on Instagram,
Building campers and stuff.
yeah, because they decided, hey, I'm going to sell my house and everything that I have and buy an RV, and they documented that. And I wouldn't necessarily think like that AI was the cause. I do think it was it's a similar conversation because they're taking advantage of a social platform. Now, I don't know, maybe I should jump on ChatGPT and ask it how to grow my Instagram following. I don't know.
Just make sure you hit the deep research button.
The what?
The deep research. You haven't seen that one?
No,
It goes deeper into the algorithm, right? Or
Well, no, what it does is
research.
it goes out and it researches depending on how long of a prompt you gave it. Like if you give it a pretty long prompt, it could take 15, 16 minutes and it'll go out and it actually does like a research paper for you.
Could somebody tie their Instagram handle to it
To ChatGPT, yeah.
and make it generate more followers?
It would post. You could have it automatically post for you. So there's some fake accounts.
That's a good project for you to look at.
So here's the other side of that too, though. Out of the followers that are on my Instagram, there's a large number of those that are bots anyway.
Why'd you let them in?
Well, that's public. My Instagram's public.
Yeah, they can just follow you.
Yeah, they could follow you. Like even Baylor made this. My son made the mature statement the other day. He was like, because I tried to tag him in something, and he was like, "No, my Instagram's private now." And I was like, "Why is your Instagram private?" And he was like, "Well, I got tired of the porn bots trying to follow me." And I'm like, "It's a good point, because if you look at them, 99% of the bots, that's what they are."
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
You should test it out. I think there's probably more to that, JT, where it's not going to do all the legwork for you, but give you ideas.
Oh,
right.
You can actually automate the entire thing with all these automation platforms. There are a bunch of fake Instagram
With integrations.
with integrations, not specifically only through Instagram. You can use, it's called N8N. You can use make.com, and there's all sorts of different things where you can plug and play with APIs and literally have it just everything automated. And by using HeyGen is another one that we didn't cover. It's literally like from this, and maybe we'll do it. But if I can get like 30 seconds of me talking here, what I can do is I can clone myself in the HeyGen platform, and then I can go in and I can start text to typing, or text to video. And so what it will do is literally anything that I say and type in there, I can clone my voice with 11 Lab. That's another platform, and literally it would just be whatever I type in, my body's going to say.
Is that the ones like how you got like you get the reel on Instagram that's like Donald Trump like saying something like really funny?
Yep. There's so many different types of platforms.
Chad wants to play around with that one.
Yeah, that one might be fun because I really the one that I've got hooked on like and this is completely AI generated, but it's like Theo Vaughn's podcast, and it's babies.
And the babies, yeah. He probably used that. More than likely.
That one makes me laugh out loud.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
There's other ones as well, like I think it's either SUNY, I think it's SUNI.ai, and you can literally go in and type in what kind of song you want, and it will write you a song in whatever.
Yeah, I've seen some of those.
It works.
If I'm a songwriter, I don't like. We live in songwriter country.
Are we in Music City, USA?
We are in songwriter country, and we have friends that are songwriters and know people that are in that world, and that would be a piece of like AI and that kind of scares me.
Yeah.
Because
I'm sure that industry's worried about it.
yeah, I would be.
But okay, let's go back to the point, or back when you were talking about being an artist.
When I
and
made
also-
the coloring book,
and you made the coloring book. How is that any different
It's
for
different.
somebody to go over here and let this generate it, but then you put your own spin on it? You mentioned earlier
Are
about
you
getting out of
are you sampling anybody's song?
I'm not sampling it. It's basically, well, I guess you could call it sampling, but
Because there's rules around the sampling, right?
yeah.
I mean,
yeah. But if it's generating from that platform,
yeah.
do you own it?
I mean, yes, you own it.
If in court they can pick out where you sampled something, right?
Yeah,
There's a
lyrics
case
are-
against you.
Yeah, lyrics are. I just like there's something about like from an artistic side to me that I still look at it and I'm like,
Yeah.
it just feels kind of wrong.
It's pretty nuts. Like it's written some crazy things.
Yeah, I've heard some of the funny country ones.
From a parenting standpoint, a couple of things I would recommend, right? I mean, we talked about how kids can use it safely. From a parent standpoint, if you haven't been used to using ChatGPT yet, we talked about jokingly, kind of funny, about how to help your kid with this if they're having a medical issue or whatever, the blue pill versus the red pill. I think you can look at it in other terms too. I think from a parent standpoint, maybe utilizing it to create list of things, maybe like, let's say chore list. Hey, I need to create a chore list for my kid this summer. ChatGPT, what do you recommend? Right? What about meal list? Hey, create a meal list for me for the whole week.
So last summer,
Right?
I had it create me a daily chore list, and it actually we had a list of what they had to do during the day. So I was like, hey, I'm working, so you cannot come talk to me while I'm doing this, right? And so snack time is this time, dinner time is this time. This is when I can come out. Yes, I'll help you if you fall down the stairs or something like that. But no,
Yeah.
like it scheduled everything out for me.
Yeah. Or to your point, kid stories. Hey, ChatGPT, give me a bedtime story for my kid tonight.
Yeah, I mean,
Right? Stuff like that.
I think my stance there would be I think parents of younger kids, especially, I don't want to say high school kids are too late, but you should probably really brush up on it. And if you do have high school age kids, but like a parent should probably download ChatGPT or whatever platforms just to familiarize yourself with it so that you know what they're using.
Absolutely.
There's so many though, but at least just
Yeah,
getting
I mean,
in general.
in
familiarity.
general, they're the same thing.
A good place
Right.
to start would be ChatGPT.
Yeah, just get one and like,
Why not Gemini?
I mean, Gemini, if you got a Google Android device, right?
Yeah.
Maybe. They're all a different app, though.
Yeah.
At the
You're
end of the
iPhone,
day.
right?
Yeah, yep.
okay, I
Yeah.
thought so. I like when Will's here better than Matt because he's got an iPhone.
That's
Predictions.
Yeah.
What does AI look like to you in 10 years? Where do you think AI is going to be?
In my life,
Yeah.
Like, where will I use it in my life in 10 years?
Yeah, well, I'm thinking like, how far advanced do you think we're going to be?
I will be 54, and I hope not to be using it.
Okay, Jason,
Yeah.
from a business perspective.
Man, that's a good question, because I hear business people out there already talking about, hey, if you're not learning AI today, you're going to get left behind. And not only that, as an employee, if you don't have some AI skills, you maybe could get replaced, right? There's a lot of that talk out there. So for me, I'm thinking of, let me just stay ahead and know this better than the next person, right? And that's the way I'm thinking about it. Let me just stay abreast of it. Let me stay on top of ChatGPT and AI in general, so I don't fall behind.
Yeah.
That's the way I'm thinking about it today.
Yeah.
Where it can be in 10 years, I think it could replace a lot of tasks, which means it could replace a lot of jobs.
That's scary.
Yeah.
I mean, because the job market's already kind of low.
At the end of the day, people are hired to do tasks.
Where I
Right?
see it in jobs is when I think AI, and part of it is because of what we do. I think where AI really can play is the call center environment. That is where I think it's really beneficial. Like, good AI is beneficial. But I think for me, like, if you told me that I could like never use it, I'd be A-okay.
Like our demo that we went to the other day, right? At lunch. They were demoing and saying that, okay, if let's say that whoever is at the front desk, they're not there that day, but they have somebody else filling in for them, right? They have no idea what this company does. They're the janitor. Somebody calls in, ring, 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 ring. They're the customer's talking, and the janitor's sitting there in front of the screen, and AI is transcribing everything and giving them prompts on what to say, and all that janitor's doing is just responding to that, right?
Yeah.
Just to fill in.
That's the first stage. The next stage, and we're already seeing it with a couple of our vendors, is just having an AI bot do all the talking.
Do all the talking.
And that's going to be the next step, right? It's already out there.
It's there.
It's going to get better. So eventually, to Chad's point, all call centers will be
Are going to be AI.
AI robots.
I think that is going to be
There'll be a level 3 or level 4 of a real person.
Yeah.
But it's going to be one real person to every 20 AI bots.
Yes. Like, to me, that's probably the biggest place in the workforce or work world that can be improved by AI is call center. Like, it's the easiest to improve.
Yeah, because
also.
how many times did we call call centers 10 years ago and we were hanging up to get another
give me a
person that
person.
knew how to answer my question?
Yeah.
With AI bots, they're all going to have, hopefully, an answer to the question.
That's because they're connected to a database, and
I
they
still
won't ever
hit,
forget
I
it.
still hit zero. Let me talk.
Yeah,
to you.
0, 0, 0.
0, 0, 0, 0,
We understand
0.
you want to talk to a better bot.
Yeah.
But we promise you that you got the best bot.
I can say, yeah.
This is level 2 bot.
This is supervisor bot. Yeah. You piece of shit.
Is there any real people here?
Yeah.
But as a parent, asking for chore list, that kind of stuff, JT,
I mean, JT's
meal
point-
ideas, that's not going too far, right?
No.
As a parent.
I
with
think
AI.
even the help with the math problems and stuff like
that's great. Yeah, take a picture of the math.
Yeah, like, I would say that maybe the shift is if you were going to Google it, ChatGPT it,
Yes.
and see, just play with those differences and see what comes up.
Yeah, don't rely on it to tell you how to parent.
No.
Just get ideas.
No,
Right?
no.
Yeah,
Use it as a tool to help you. That's it.
that's it.
Hey, you know what we got to do real quick?
Yeah.
The rapid-ish fire with JT, because he's never been on this show.
Okay. I think
what?
that's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do the rapid fire with JT.
Yeah.
So, that concludes our AI and
Yeah.
parenting today. Let's go through some rapid fire real quick with JT.
Yeah.
Get
And
them
cut.
good and comfortable, and
Yeah.
let the public know them a little bit more, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Okay, just a few questions.
Yeah, it's easy, dude.
Yeah.
Favorite movie?
Favorite movie?
Yeah, you can give me 3.
Armageddon.
Okay, there you go.
Would you rather retire on the beach or in the mountains?
The beach.
Okay. So you're a water guy.
I'm a water guy. And I mean, my dream is to sail around the world one day. So, yeah 100%.
We're all going to watch him.
On YouTube, well, yeah, I'm getting paid by all my sponsors.
Every minute of it, we're watching you.
You better. Better not skim it.
Yeah.
So going back to the AI thing, you can actually go in and get the transcript of, especially with Gemini, you can get the transcript or just the Google link, and you can literally type it into Gemini and say, give me a summary of this, and it will give you a summary of that.
There you go.
Remember I showed you that one day?
You did show me that, yes.
And I use that for a response. We'll go back.
Where
Anyway,
you don't
rapid fire,
have
let's go.
to watch an hour-long video.
I didn't, no.
Okay.
You're going on a road trip
I'm okay.
because Toddy's kind of a road trip guy. He'll
All the time,
pack
dude.
the camper up.
Yeah, dude.
You,
Let the wind through my hair.
Yep. You stop in the Loves or the Flying J.
Oh, dude, yes.
You're
Road snacking?
Yeah, you're getting your snacks.
Okay.
What are you coming out with?
Dude, seriously?
Yeah.
The go-to is a
snacks.
beef stick.
Okay.
And I'm going to have a bag of dill pickle sunflower seeds.
Okay. Nothing to drink.
I mean, no. Well, yeah, probably. I probably have to have like a water.
raw dog those sunflower seeds.
I got to have somewhere to spit, so I have to get a cup, some sort of
Yeah,
cup.
okay.
But yeah, water. I mean, I usually
Just
drink
water?
Just water.
No Coke. No.
I don't drink a lot of Cokes.
Okay.
I quit drinking sweet tea and Cokes and all that kind of stuff a while back ago, so I don't do it as much. I mean,
Okay.
I'll have energy drink, I'll drink those in the morning, but other than that, no. Not a whole lot of sugar.
Okay.
All right, you're not sailing around the world. You're actually driving.
Okay.
Okay, your one dream vehicle. What would that be, JT?
Is it unlimited gas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could buy whatever you've got unlimited funds. You can buy whatever vehicle you want.
Man, is the family with me? Is it just me?
It
No,
could
it's
just
your
be
vehicle.
you.
This
It's
is your.
it's just
yeah.
me?
Yeah. This is your car.
I don't know. I'm not a huge car guy, but I mean,
either.
I'd probably go. I don't want to be Ferrari because then everybody's just going to be staring at you. I'm thinking maybe like low key Porsche. I'll go Porsche.
Okay.
Okay, like a
He's a little
Boxster,
little
or
boxer,
something.
yeah.
A Boxster? That's what you're going to get when you're. That would not be the Porsche. I'm not even a supercar guy.
A 911 GT4 Carrera
I'm just,
or
no, 'cause
something.
I can get the Boxster. I can put the have a convertible, right? And then I'll put some air ride on it, so it's nice.
Okay.
nice drive.
He's a Boxster guy.
Okay.
Your perfect meal, your favorite meal, your last meal, right? Your
Oh, dude, you already know where I'm going.
last
with this.
rights.
Yeah, I'm going with chicken tenders from Sam's Sports Bar. I'm going with French fries as my side and a swimming pool full of ranch
And a water to drink.
and a water to drink. I don't know. In that case, I mean, that's probably having a Bud Light. Who knows?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned being a boat guy, wanting to sail around the world. Unlimited funds. What's your boat of choice?
Boat of choice, man. I don't know. I'm not bougie like that. I'm building right now a 1959 Marionette boat, and I didn't pay but a few $1,000s for it. So I like building stuff myself, but I don't know. As far as sailing around the world, it would probably have to be a catamaran. It would probably be a Lagoon 450.
Yes. He and I are on different. boats.
Is that the 45 foot?
Yeah.
Okay.
If my funds are way different, like I'm like a 96-foot Viking, like Michael Jordan.
That's right.
That's what I'm doing.
You're not going to be able to get fuel out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean.
I'm not
You're-
going out.
You
in
can
the middle.
store all the fuel you need, right?
Nah, not
A lot
boat.
of-
I'm
No?
not going.
Okay.
I want. This is the. We're going to fish marlin tournaments. Is what
Okay.
I'm doing.
Well, he said sail around the world. So that
Yeah,
was
I'm
Well, you
not,
can
so.
always stop off at marinas and
Yeah.
places. You don't have to have unlimited fuel supply.
If you're trying to go across the Atlantic, I don't know. Some of these boats that won't make it, right? I don't know.
Well, that's why you have a sailboat.
That's why I would have a sailboat.
Yeah.
He would not be able to make it
No.
all the way across the pond.
Yeah, I'm not trying to
He would
go-
have to get a boat that ships ships. A ship.
Well,
shipping-
isn't there a tanker somewhere that can come fill you up? If you got enough money, you can make that happen.
Yeah.
enough money, you can make anything happen, buddy.
Last one. Your or last one for me. Your Mount Rushmore of athletes or sports figures.
I am not a huge sports guy. Like literally, like I don't watch sports. I have hockey right here. Like I play inline hockey. I coach hockey, but I literally don't watch sports
Okay.
anymore.
Let me change it. You can sit down and have a beer with anyone alive. They have to be alive.
Alive?
Yeah. Who would it be?
Man, I don't know. It'd probably be like Luke Bryan.
Luke Bryan would be your pick.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
All right.
All right. That's good.
That was good.
Yeah.
This
Fishing,
concludes
loving every day.
episode number 3 of the NextGen Podcast.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us today. Be sure to like, follow, subscribe. Give us a comment. Let us know what you think about parenting and AI in 2025.
Yeah. And we're going to
What
share.
would you do or don't do?
We'll share some images
Yeah, absolutely.
of me and Jason.
Yep, let's do it.
All right.
And this is
Thanks for
fake.
joining us,
Have a good
JT.
one.
Hey,
Appreciate you having me on.
did you want to do a cut of something? You were going to say something?
I was just gonna say.
Conmigo en NextGen, obtienes un aliado tecnológico que se encarga de todo: instalación, soporte y gestión de servicios. simplifico lo complejo y te libero de dolores de cabeza para que te enfoques en crecer.
Okay.
Okay.
Make sure to give them that clip at the end there.
Yeah.
That was fun, guys.
Plenty
You don't
of-
ever ask it like, "Hey, how can I make my wife happier?" Like, or can I cook her something to eat?
No.
Like no. Like this is only for me, man.
No.
That's funny.
Why would I need ChatGPT for that?